Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Indy in a bubble. It has been months in the making, and now the NCAA has confirmed plans to host March Madness, the entire tournament, all 64 games in Indianapolis. The pandemic prompting the move to a controlled environment for one of the nation's most important sporting events. It is not yet a done deal, but is expected to happen. You're looking at video of NCAA Senior Vice President of Basketball Dan Gavitt, Andy Katz, and the chair of the Division I Men's Basketball Committee, and also the University of Kentucky's AD earlier this week announcing the potential plan. What could it mean for the Indiana economy, the future of the sport, and big-time sporting events? For some answers, we turn now to Inside Indiana Sports host Bill Benner, a longtime observer of Indy and the Indiana landscape. And Bill, welcome to the program as always.
Gary, my pleasure to be on with you.
Yeah, really big news from the NCAA. It's been talked about for a long time, I think, behind the scenes. Not a done deal yet, but your reaction to what this could mean?
Well, you know, it kind of goes back to the three C's that we've always talked about with Indianapolis: convenience, compact, connected. And in this particular case, it turns a very difficult situation into a positive for Indianapolis and the hospitality industry. Nationwide exposure over the course of 3 weeks, and the national focus on with March Madness all squarely on Indianapolis. It's couldn't come, you know, again, we wish it hadn't happened like this, but it really couldn't come at a more opportune time for our struggling hospitality industry.
You mentioned the attention on Indianapolis for a 3-week period. Hard to calculate the impact of that visibility, but for the entertainment industry downtown, the hospitality industry, which has been decimated by the pandemic, this potentially is some good news to help that very important industry.
Well, you talk about vaccines for the COVID. This is a booster shot for the hospitality industry. And again, we don't know whether fans of any number will be able to attend. We don't know precisely which venues will be used, other than obviously Lucas Oil Stadium for the Final Four. But you could certainly see a boost from all the other people who have to be here, whether it's television production crews, media, game support personnel, that would certainly help fill downtown Indianapolis hotel rooms and restaurants, and again, at a much, much needed time.
All right, let's talk strategy. We don't know a lot yet. Again, the deal is not yet fully done. But in terms of where these games would be, there's been a lot of talk about, hey, how about the big high school gyms? But that's not feasible, is it?
Well, I don't think so. You know, they're 84 feet. The college game is at 94 feet. And so I think that would probably automatically eliminate any high school venues unless they could accommodate a college-sized court. But certainly the convention center and its conventions hall, I think they could have 6 or 8 courts inside there. There could be a couple of courts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Certainly you bring HINKLE Fieldhouse and Bankers Life Fieldhouse into play as well. And so I think certainly, and from a practice standpoint, yes, the high schools might be used, but this is what Indianapolis was built for. And again, unwittingly built for this kind of opportunity when you have to have the entire NCAA March Madness all in one place.
And really, this is a byproduct, as you kind of touched on before, of Indianapolis as a sports capital. The way it was built physically, everything compact, connected downtown, plus the city's reputation and what it has done time and time again in terms of hosting the biggest sporting events out there.
Well, it goes unquestioned. Every time Indianapolis has had either a Final Four or a Super Bowl, a national championship, a World Gymnastics, you name it, they've raised the bar. I know from sitting in on conference calls with the local organizing committee, even as we discussed contingency plans, there has been an imperative among that group that this time, because of the cancellation of last year's tournament, that Indianapolis would not only rejuvenate, but they would again take it to another level. And again, our relationship with the NCAA and the investment in the NCAA headquarters to bring it here, the long-term relationship, the agreement to bring Final Fours and NCAA championships here on a regular basis, this is also intertwined. The NCAA is Indy, Indy is the NCAA, Gary.
Yeah, as we wrap up, Bill, the NCAA, I think, expects to announce hopefully a finalized deal sometime in December. There's a lot to do between now and then when you look at all the moving parts, the hotels that would be involved, the events that would have to be moved around, the medical procedures and contingencies that would be in place. So very intricate process trying to get this deal done.
Well, and again, the presence of our medical community is another huge, significant advantage for Indianapolis. Yeah, there are so many moving parts, but I can tell you once again, when it comes to volunteers and people, that will be the least of the NCAA's problems, and there'll be great cooperation. It won't have to be, we'll do Zoom calls, I'm sure, yeah. But there could be a lot of face-to-face interaction as March approaches.
All right, Bill Benner, as always, some great perspective. Bill, thanks for joining us. We'll see you a little bit later in the show.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it.